Okay, so let's pretend we're in a gun shop and we've walked by and we've seen a few surplus rifles that we want to check out, thinking about buying them or whatever. I want to mention that there's a bit of etiquette that comes with shopping for firearms that if you do your part, you're going to do very well. And that comes down to courtesy, okay? So let's assume that I walked into a gun shop, I see these guns. The first thing I would do is I'd walk up to the owner and I'd say, okay, I see you have a few firearms here that I would, like to consider looking at. Do you mind if I pick them up? And of course, the gun owner, or the shop owner, he wants you to buy it, so he's going to say, sure, check it out. So, you've gotten his permission, you go ahead and pick up the rifle. Before you open the bolt, manipulate any of the mechanisms on the rifle, you ask, do you mind if I check for functioning of the rifle? Anything like that. Basically, anything you're going to do, go ahead and ask permission first. That's going to make you look a lot more informed and a lot more professional in the eyes of the people that are selling these rifles. There's nothing that a gun store owner hates more than someone just walking up and, playing with the guns and not asking, okay? So that's first and foremost. Let's move on to the actual, alright, we've gotten our permission. The gun store owner knows what we're doing. So let's inspect some rifles. Crown. In terms of accuracy, the crown of a rifle is probably one of the most important aspects you need to check when you're buying any used firearm, especially a surplus rifle. The condition of a rifle's crown is important because when the bullet is fired, as it leaves the barrel, the crown of the rifle is the last point of contact between the gases in the barrel and the base of the bullet as it exits. This is important because if the crown is not even, if it's worn, if the rifling does not come all the way up to the end of the crown evenly and uniformly, you're going to have different amounts of gases being exerted in different directions on the base of that bullet. It's going to cause erratic flight of the bullet at longer ranges. It's going to cause problems with your gyroscopic stability at different ranges. And basically, you're just going to get overall bad accuracy. Okay? So let's look at the fair condition, NRA grade fair condition 9131st. If you look at the muzzle, you can see, hopefully you can see, I'm trying my best to get this just right so you can see what I'm talking about. And trust me, here we go. And trust me, once you see the excellent one, you're going to know exactly what I'm referring to. If you look, you can see that the muzzle is well worn. The rifling does not go all the way up to the muzzle like it should. If you can look, it looks almost more round than it does actually, having the rifling. You'll see in a second what I'm talking about, but just bear this picture in mind. Okay? This is one that, this gun is a shooter, but it's never going to be a tack driver in the true sense of things. Now, on a lot of these older surplus guns, you have what was called a counterboring, and what they did with those, like in this case, this rifle could probably benefit from a counterboring. What they would do is they would bore into the muzzle down a little bit ways to where the rifling is still brand new, and basically recrown it. But that recrowning essentially would be recessed within the rifle. So if you look down in there and it looks smooth, look on down and you'll see another section that, of course looks like it's recrowned within the barrel, like recessed. That's called counterboring. It is a measure that is taken to increase accuracy. There's your fair crown, muzzle, what have you. Alright, here's the K31. Now, I regret to say I didn't clean this one from the last time I took my cast bullets out, but you should get a pretty decent idea of the condition of this crown. Okay? Might be a little bit difficult to tell because of the lighting, but the rifling comes all the way up to the crown. The crown is slightly recessed. The front of the barrel, the immediate top of the barrel here, has no nicks, gouges, scratches, dings. So that's the kind of stuff you want to look for. If the muzzle of the firearm has a ding or a nick or something out of it, then that's one more area that gas is going to escape through or escape to. It's going to take the path of least resistance. So, like I said, if there's a gouge, it's going to find its way out and it's going to affect your accuracy. Even if it's a minute amount, it's still going to affect it. Now this is a crown that would be considered very good condition. Next rifle, you're going to really be able to see what I'm talking about, because this rifle, this Yugo, the excellent condition one, it has just absolutely perfect rifling. See how the rifling goes all the way up to the muzzle, and you can see definite impressions. There you go, that's a good shot right there. See what I'm talking about? You can see strong rifling going all the way up to the end of the muzzle. That's exactly what you want. The muzzle of this rifle is completely free of scratches, dings, dents, anything that would affect the accuracy. So that's why this firearm is considered excellent to unissued. See that rifling? You know, it pales, you know, the fair condition 9130 pales in comparison to how strong the rifling on this Yugo looks. So, you know, that's a very good example right there. Okay? So let's move on down to some other things. We got a lot of stuff to cover. This can be several parts. So we've checked the crown, the muzzle. Okay. You want to check whatever exposed metal parts going down the rifle you can for any wear or gouges, nicks. Basically, you're looking for any kind of card you can find that might give you a little bit of haggle room with the dealer. Because all they're trying to do is get your money. Ultimately, they don't really care what they're selling you. In their eyes, most gun dealers are looking at a military surplus rifle as just some expendable piece of junk that they can pawn off on somebody regardless of what the condition is. Now that's not always the case with all of them. I mean, there's several reputable dealers you can go through out there, but I'm just talking about your normal Joe Blow mom and pop gun shop or pawn shop or anything like that. Most of them just want to get it off their hands because most of them aren't going to even know what they're dealing with, okay? So that's why you need to be prepared what you're looking for. Alright, all military rifles are going to have more hardware on them than you would expect to find on a modern rifle. And a perfect example is, as you can see here, bands that go around the stock. Okay? Check these bands, make sure they're not loose. A lot of them have retention hardware. See how this K31 has this little retention band? You want to make sure that's got, good springiness to it, that it, holds the band in place. Same thing on this Mauser. See right there, there's another band, retention band for the Mauser. Same thing on the 9130. See there? You just want to make sure it's got all its springiness, that it's retaining those bands in place. As you go down the rifle, also check for, we got a cleaning rod on this one. The K31 does not have a cleaning rod, but they are not issued with cleaning rods attached to the weapon anyway, so that's not a problem to worry about. The 9130, as you can see, does not have a cleaning rod, so that's one more thing you can check. As you go down, you want to check for warping, cracks, stains, dents, anything that would basically take points off your grade, because in your head you're wanting to keep a grade. You're grading the rifle in your mind, what it's worth to you as opposed to what they're asking for it, okay? So we're looking at these rifles. The wood looks pretty decent. Right here is a pretty dang decent representation. As you can see, the fair grade, lots of nicks, scratches, dings. The good to very good grade, a little wear. See, there's a couple little marks, but nothing horrible. The Yugo, for all intents and purposes, perfect. There's one little handling mark right there, but that's probably was for me. So anyway,